Hi, my name is Carlin, and today I'm going to help you guys learn how to make Tepsy the vegetarian way. So to make Tepsy, we're going to need a few things. So we're going to need eggplant, tomatoes, onions, and zucchini. And other things such as salt. I use extra virgin olive oil, just some regular olive oil from my hair. And this stuff called Maggi. I get it from Dream Market. And tomato paste. I need tomato paste. And just regular table salt. So first, rinse your vegetables. These are already rinsed, so we're gonna start by cutting up the eggplant. So first you're gonna sort of just take off the top of the eggplant, cut the tip of the stem off, and then make sure you don't cut the eggplant too thin or too thick, so that way when you put it all together it doesn't fall apart. Once you're done slicing up the eggplant, next you're gonna want to take some paper towel, pieces, put it on a big plate, and set the eggplant pieces down on the paper towel like this, so that they all have like some space, they're not all touching. And so you're gonna want to take some salt, table salt, and sprinkle it on top of all of the pieces of eggplant. Try and get it even. If not, it's okay. Just get some salt on them. Okay. Then flip them over, just like that. And same thing, put some salt on top. And then you're gonna take more paper towel, place it on top of these pieces of eggplant, and do the same thing with the other pieces. This helps also drag out a lot of the water that's in the eggplant, because eggplant's it's a juicy vegetable, I'd say. It's got some water in it. This also just helps with the frying process. When you fry these bad boys, you want them to have some flavor. Here we go. Now we're done with the eggplant. Now you're gonna let these sit for about 15 minutes. Let them soak in that salt, and they're gonna start just like sweating it all out, you know? So let these sit, and as these sit, we can work on everything else. So we can start cutting up our tomatoes. So we're just gonna slice them up. And the part with this, just slice it real thin. All the tomatoes, same thing. Just really thin slice, just to get that stem piece off. Those we can toss out. Ooh. Okay, and now same thing, we're gonna slice these up the same way we did our eggplant. Just like that. Not too thick, not too thin, because you don't want them to fall apart when you're cooking. I'm using 4 tomatoes. You can use as many as you want. It's just a matter of how big your pot is and how many people you're trying to feed. Let's see, each tomato gets cut into like 4 to 5 pieces. Depends on the size of the tomato. And now what we're going to do is put salt on all of these tomatoes, not too much. And just 1 pinch of salt is good enough. There we go. That should be good. And now, as we're still waiting for the eggplant and we just cut up our tomatoes, we can work on our zucchini. So we're gonna cut the part off with the little stem from each of our pieces of zucchini. And now we're just gonna start slicing up our zucchini, not too thick and not too thin again. And so now that we've sliced up our zucchini, we're gonna do the same thing by putting them on a plate and then adding salt to all the pieces. So let's do that. Okay, so now that we've cut up the zucchini, the tomatoes, and the eggplant, we're gonna start cutting up the onion. So removing all of the outer layer of the onion. Trim off both sides just a little bit. And then what I usually do is I make a little slit right down one of the very first piece. And I remove that. Just so it's like a naked onion. Again, you can use as many onions as you want. I I just prefer more eggplant than tomatoes and more onions than tomatoes. We're gonna do the same thing we did with everything else. Just slice it all up, and again, not too thick and not too thin. We're trying to get tipsy with Tepsy. You know, you don't want them too thick, you don't want them too thin. Just right. You don't have to wear gloves, but I wear gloves because I just don't like the smell of onions stuck to my hands. Not a fan of walking around smelling like onions. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's not for me though. So now placing our onions on a plate. We have officially prepared everything for the Tepsy. And so now we can actually start cooking. And so first things first, we're gonna start with cooking our eggplant. If you wanna see, see the paper towel, how it's like damp, and you can see that it's absorbed a lot of the water from the eggplant. Yep, that's exactly what we wanted. So now we can remove the paper towel, sort of damp down the pieces of eggplant. So you're gonna take some oil and just drizzle it into the pot, not too much and not too little. I usually set this to about medium-high. It's like between medium and high. And then you're gonna place your pieces of eggplant right in there. So normally I let this cook for a few minutes. So just make sure you flip them every once in a while. Give them a good flip. Ooh, just be careful because eggplant is it's a tough one to fry. You know. And once they get golden brown like this, you can start removing them and make sure you put them on a plate with paper towel to soak up all that excess oil. And you can start placing more in there. Again, be very careful as this oil definitely likes to pop back at you. Ooh. Okay, so now we finished frying our eggplant, and so this is what it should look like. Okay, so like the pieces should be like sort of like gold brown. And now we can start working on frying our zucchini. So look at all that sweat. Yeah, it's real. It's real, guys. So I'm gonna start by damping the zucchini down. Just like that. Just like that. Look at that. Okay. Now, I like to use the same pot and same dishes. I try and rewash them as I'm like waiting for things to finish. Just so I'm not using too many things. So I'm gonna use the same pot I fried the eggplants in, using the same oil, and just start frying these bad boys. Try and be careful because zucchini's just like the eggplant, like the oil likes to pop back at you and it hurts, so just, you know, watch out. And just put these on the stove just like the eggplant for a couple minutes. I'd say wait about a minute, flip them, make sure you watch them. You know, don't go away for too long. And just every once in a while, give them a good, you know, flip. And then when they turn gold brown, you know you're done. So this is what the zucchini looks like once it's fried. Like I said, gold brown, just so it looks like it's been, you know, sizzle good. Okay, so now we've fried our eggplant and our zucchini. And next we're gonna start frying our onions. So let's do that. Never take your eyes off of the pot, guys. Because I know sometimes people tend to forget, they'll go check their phone. It's like, just stay there, it doesn't take too long, you know. Just check up on little guys, you know. They're gonna make some good Tepsy for you, so. Okay, so now everything is fried except for the tomatoes. So, rephrasing this, we fried the eggplant first, then we did the zucchini, then we did the onions. Tomatoes were not fried, we just salted them, and now comes the fun part. So now we're gonna start putting all of the stuff in the pot. You always wanna use a pot that's pretty high, nothing flat or nothing too low, because you're gonna layer all of this stuff in a pattern. What we're gonna do is take a piece of eggplant, then a piece of tomato, a piece of onion, and a piece of zucchini, and just keep that pattern going around the entire pot. And so you can put in whatever pattern you want. This is the fun part, okay? So let's start. Okay, and so the onions, it's okay if they slip and they're not in the same, like, each piece of onion is with each other. That's all right. What I normally do is I take those pieces like this, and I just put it in there. That's not a big deal. So now I need a piece of zucchini, another piece of eggplant, tomato, onion. You keep this pattern just going around the whole pot. It's okay if you go a little out of order. As long as, like, you're not putting tomato, onion, tomato, onion, tomato, onion, you know. It's not a big deal. Tepsy's gonna taste like Tepsy. As long as you make it with love. Let's do that second lap now. So sometimes you might not have enough of something. So like right now, I'm about to run out of tomatoes. And so what I'll do is keep the rotation going with everything else. So I'll do eggplant, zucchini, onion. Eggplant, zucchini, onion. Eggplant. And then I'll do tomato, because I only have 3 pieces left. And I'll do zucchini, eggplant, onion. Zucchini, eggplant, onion. And I know that they're not all the same size and whatever. That's okay, that's not a big deal. Because when this all cooks, some things might fall apart, some might not. That's okay, because the flavor's still gonna be there. So what I normally do is I have a couple pieces of onion left, and I just toss them right there in the middle. I'll throw in a couple extra pieces of zucchini, like all in the center, just to stuff it up a little bit so everything's sort of still and doesn't move around too much. And there we have it. Now, on to actually cooking the Tepsy. So I apologize guys, I forgot to mention this before. I use something called buharat dolma. So it's dolma spices. Dolma is an Arabic dish with grape leaves. And I actually use the one by Kashat. So this is what it looks like. This is the container. I get this also from Dream Market. So, and what I do is normally when I'm cooking this on the stove, I'll add about a spoonful and a half. I'll show you guys, don't worry. And so then I'll add the maji, the majoon, and the salt. So that's what we're gonna do now, guys. First, we don't have to have this on the stove to add the salt. So we're gonna take a little tablespoon of salt, and not that much, and just sprinkle it all over. That's good. Right? And then what I normally do is I add water. So normally what I do is I add one of these, and the label on this says 4 cups. So 4 cups of water is added to the Tepsy pot. So what I normally do is I break the maji into 4 pieces and just toss that in there. And then I'll add about a full tablespoon of the buharat, just all over. And then add about half of this 12-ounce can of tomato paste. And again, just randomly in the pot. Just make sure you sort of mix it into the water. Now that we set the Tepsy to cook, we're gonna wait about 45 minutes, and I set it to medium-low. And as that's cooking, now we're gonna work on the rice. And for the rice, I usually use this bag of rice, basmati. So I get this also from Dream Market. Just basmati rice. You don't have to use this brand. You use any basmati rice. So, and I don't have sha'riyah, which is vermicelli noodles. I think that's how you say it in English. We don't have sha'riyah right now. I didn't know that till last minute, so I'm not making rice with sha'riyah. Instead, I'm gonna make it with onion. So bear with me, guys. It's still gonna be really good. So what we're gonna do is chop this onion up, except not into slices this time. We're gonna sort of dice up our sliced onion. Yeah, okay. And so I'm gonna slice it real quick right down one side. Peel that off. Oh, this part's a little messy too. I don't like when there's like brown spots and stuff like that. It still doesn't look like it's peeled after you peeled it, you know. So. 1 strainer full, so that's 16 ounces, about 1 pound of rice. Okay, so setting that aside for now, we're gonna work on the onion. And so we're gonna dice up the onion, all right? So now that I've sliced it, I'm going to, where was this knife earlier, huh guys? Culinary sister finally came downstairs. Thank you. All right. So now I'm gonna add a couple drops of oil, about a tablespoon, okay? And set this pot on between medium and low, all right? Let that heat up a bit, and then I'm just gonna slide these onions in, all this onion. Now I'm going to give that a good little stir really quick. You can turn up the heat a little bit too. Just trying to split all the pieces of onion apart. And if you feel like you need, add a little more oil. Definitely think I should add a little bit. There we go. Just add a pinch of salt. Just a little bit, just a bit. And then what I also like to do is add 1 piece of Maggi as well. However, I like to add the Maggi with the water. So what I did is I put it in the water. Adding about 2 cups is good, so 2 cups. And then that 1 piece of Maggi broken up into pieces in there. Add that to the onion. Okay, and let that cook for a little bit. Just for a few minutes. But I let the Maggi that I added to the water dissolve. And so right now it's dissolving. And we're just gonna wait a few minutes for that. It shouldn't take longer than a minute, honestly, but again, we'll just wait for that to finish. Make sure you also rinse your rice as you're waiting. So now I'm gonna go rinse my rice. But first, let's add some black pepper to our onion and Maggi mixture. Just a little bit, I mean not too much. I turned this thing like 3 or 4 times I think. So that should be good. Give it like 1 more swirl. Okay. So now that the Maggi's dissolved in the water, let's add our rice. And we can adjust the water to the rice as needed. So I'm not too worried about that. And when you add the rice, you always want to make sure there's about 1/2 inch layer of water over the rice. Alright guys, so I'm going to leave the lid off for now. I just added that 1/3 of cup of water. And I'm just going to stir this rice just a bit. And as soon as you see that the water is fully bubbling in the whole pot, all of the water in the pot is bubbling, that's when I'm going to place the lid on and I'm going to set the temperature to low. So let's wait a second for that. So now that the water looks like it's really absorbed, I'm going to set the temperature to low. And when the rice looks like it really absorbed a lot of the water, like as it does, that's when I'm going to add in just a couple of pieces of bay leaves to give some flavor to the rice, since I'm making this in a different way without sha'riyah. So I'm going to add just little cut up pieces of bay leaves. I'm going to give it a good stir. And now I'm going to place the lid over the rice and wait about a 1/2 hour with it on low. Just make sure you place it on low. with the lid on top. Okay, so now that the rice is cooking and the Tepsi's cooking, you're just gonna wait about 30 more minutes for everything to finish. And then you have Tepsi rice, yay! So let's just wait that down. Alright guys, so this was about over an hour process. I'm sorry guys, about an hour and a half. And I know it takes time, but be patient and don't stress it. Let me know if you have any recommendations or suggestions or want me to do any other videos of cooking. Thanks.